Ready, Rocco? All right. I think first of all, give credit to Florida State. Their kids played hard, came out and hard-fought game. It was a very physical game tonight. Both sides, sidelines had a lot of guys that got injured. Including us even before the game. Tyon was going to be a game time decision. He went through warm-ups, decided to hold him. He's close but not quite ready. Trevor Reed went out, I think, first drive at left tackle, and was not able to come back into the game. And Wiggins went out second drive with a foot injury, and was not able to come back in the game. And then T. Huddy kind of in and out. And so you just, a lot of moving parts there when you think about guys getting up. It was a physical game. They had some guys that were out as well. I think first half we were in control of the game, battling offense and defense. It was a close contest. Really and truly, we should have been up more, at least 2 scores. Had the turnover in the red zone, had the turnover at midfield when we're driving the ball. In control. I think we ran 47 plays in the first half. And, came out in the second half, and their first drive, they take a drive down, 6-minute drive, and ended up scoring to put them back in it. Kids battled, got back in it, got back on top. They hit some big plays on us in the second half, I think, more the fourth quarter. When you think about 2nd and 14, to me, was the play of the day. Our defense, and it was 2nd and 14, they hit a post route on us that got them, down inside the red zone. Ended up scoring right there. That was a huge play. I felt like we had a lot of momentum at that point in time, and and from that point we were battling, and we still had an opportunity. We get to midfield and went for it on 4th. Got to complete the catch. It would have been a first down, and who knows after that? Well, our defense, stood up, held them to a field goal, missed a field goal. Now we got another opportunity. Minute and 20, one timeout, drive down the field, and had a couple of opportunities to make plays, didn't make them, and ultimately that's what it was. And the last play, I think Malik was trying to hit Huggins Bruce on the sideline. He was open, kind of ball just sailed a little bit, and the DB made the interception there at the end. But it's just very hurtful and disappointing by our, not being able to win this game. Again, I felt we know Florida State's a good football team, but we were right there and going toe to toe and in control of the game until late.
Coach, just as far as it seemed like your team had a lot of advantages going into halftime. Had the lead, didn't necessarily play your best ball, but had the 7-point lead. Offense seemed to be playing well. Malik seemed to be locked in, throwing the ball well. Defense was playing well. Was a situation where maybe because Travis went out, team maybe let off the gas a little bit? Did you feel any of that? Where
No, I don't feel that, but I do think they came out in the second half and they went more 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets. And I felt like they were slowing it down. We ran a lot of plays in the first half, and I thought we were wearing their defense out. Well, the first drive, they come out and go 2 tight ends, slowing it down, running the ball more, and then play action, trying to take some shots. That kind of seemed to be their plan in the second half, maybe limit our opportunities offensively. And I think they've succeeded in doing that. We didn't really try to take the foot off the gas, I can tell you. I mean, we're calling plays to try to move the ball down the field, and we didn't stop calling those. I mean, we were trying to take some shots down the field. We were hit a big, nice crosser to Amari to get down there. Malik's had some good runs in there in the second half, and we got stalled one time. We got down inside the red zone, had to settle for a field goal. And then just didn't score enough points. Ultimately, I mean, I think offensively we had over 500 yards and 31 points. We didn't hold them to under that amount, and I think ultimately that was the end. Again, I mentioned that post. That was a huge play. It was a huge play in the game momentum-wise. When you got them 2nd and 14, backed up, you knock that ball down, you got a big stop, we get the ball back, and with the lead. And I think that was a huge point.
Coach, Johnny Wilson had 7 receptions, 149 yards, and 2 touchdowns. What made him so difficult to defend tonight?
Is that the big guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what made him difficult. I mean, he's 6'7", 200 and some pounds, one-on-one locked with a corner over there. He's a hard guy to cover. We're trying to get more guys down into the box to stop the run, and when you do that, you're going to be vulnerable. We got to play better outside. We got to play better outside, and we had a couple of PIs as well, pass interference on penalties, trying to cover them on some of those skinny post routes they were hitting. The last touchdown they hit, I mean, Brownlee's right there. It's great coverage, and they threw it way in the back of the end zone, and he caught it and, barely had a foot in. That was a heck of a play. And, he's a weapon at 6'7". Our guys aren't that tall at corner, and I think that's probably the most difficult thing. And that ball we were on the 1 yard line. That was third down or fourth. I can't remember. I think it was third on the 1 yard line, and we had stuffed them, and then they had to settle for a fade in the back corner, and they ended up getting it. That's pretty good defense, but sometimes 6'7" is a little bit better.
You mentioned the turnovers, also 11 penalties tonight. It seems like another game where there were opportunities. You mentioned a number of opportunities there where something happens where you shoot yourself in the foot, so to speak.
Yeah.
What's the cause of that, and what can you do to alleviate most of it at least?
Well, I know 3 of them were false starts when we were getting ready to snap the ball, and they were yelling "move," and they moved their D line, and we move right as we're getting ready to snap the ball. That was 3 of them out of those. We had an offsides by Yasir, barely offsides. They got him on that, and we had, like I mentioned, those 2 PI penalties. We had 2 in the kicking game, and that's disappointing. We hadn't had any kicking game in the first 2 games, and we had 2 tonight. We had a holding penalty. On that, and then we had 2 holding penalties on a punt return and another one. So it's really all 3 phases that contributed to that. It wasn't just one side of the ball, with the penalties. But again, they hurt you big time.
Coach, Jordan Travis gets hurt, comes out of the game. Roadmaker comes in. Had you guys been able to study any film on him or been able to see anything on him? Because it seemed like Florida State, they was just business as usual for them.
Well, I think it's a little bit different game plan. If you looked at the second half to what they did, they went more 2 tight ends, running the football, keeping him in the pocket, taking shots. I mean, he's not going to be the runner. He did get around one time, got a first down. We lost contain on that one, but their plan was not to run him. Their plan was to run the running back. And Ward had a big game, 126 yards. And so in the second half, that's what they were able to do, and then take shots. He is a good passer, and he was able to hit some of those balls and some tight windows. Like I mentioned, the touchdown pass, that was a good throw. They were running some RPOs in the second half to where, a skinny or a skinny post or hand the ball off, depending on what coverage you were in. And so he did a good job with that. And, we knew he could throw the football. I mean, but I do think they changed their game plan in the second half once he was going to be the guy.
Coach, coming off the difficult Week 1 loss, and this is a tough loss at home tonight. What is going to be your message to the team, or what do you need to do to get them refocused so this one loss doesn't turn into 2 or 3?
Well, I mean, it's one. They're all 1-game seasons. I mean, you got to do the best you can do with whatever you get ready to play. And so our focus will be everything will be on South Florida on Sunday when we get back in. Everything we have to put into that game to go in and play our very, very best game. You can't dwell on the past, win or loss. You learn from it, but you can't dwell on it. And then you come back and you really focus on what you got to get better at. And it's everybody. It's all the players, all the coaches. Everybody's got to find something to get better at. And I thought our kids fought hard. I mean, they played hard tonight, and they got after it. And but again, we got to be smarter in what we're doing. Not the penalties, the turnovers. Again, is what's disappointing. And then in the second half, I thought we didn't tackle as well either in the second half. As you when those guys hit some of those runs, we got guys there. We're just not getting them down. We're not knocking them down. We got to get better at that. All right, thanks, guys.